you have the fear, for example, to make a reel with you cooking and
Mm-hmm.
showing the world how beautiful you make spaghetti and how
Mm-hmm.
tasty it is. You have the fear to do that yourself. Imagine yourself putting a reel like that, you will be ejected in the second of the group. If you use your Instagram and always talk about principle, let's say cross veganism principle, you will convince nobody. You will just convince people who are already vegan and who want to support. You don't repeat the same message every time. For what purpose? I think
Mm-hmm.
if you are on education from virtual, like Instagram, virtual education, you have to be attractive. And this is not a bad word because guess what? You can be attractive and you can spread the good message. The both are
Mm-hmm.
important. If you don't care of looking good, of speaking in a good way, respectful way, and talk also sometimes about subjects that is not necessarily in the principle, but also in the practice, in how we do
Mm-hmm.
it. I understand it's not the point. Don't make me the lesson, but it's great to talk about that for people who don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
What I suggest is to be attractive, to don't discard this idea. It's great, but having the right message. When you have both, when you have the attractive, the sexy side, and the good message, I think you have the key to change the world. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what you think about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Think I think it's um I think maybe what the danger that I'm sensing is in attaching the word vegan to ideas of welfarism and to utilitarianism and to diet. Like I do think that all like these considerations are important. And yeah, like talking about the practice, talking about the principle, but also the practice and all that. I actually have this the principal at my old school messaged me today and said, I want to talk with you about veganism. And I said, okay, what questions do you have? I always like talking about this. And then he said, where do you get your protein? How do I,
Yeah,
do these things? And
sure.
you know, that to me seems like somebody who's willing to learn and all that.
Mhm.
But I do sense a responsibility. And so in that case, I'm not going to say, hey, veganism is not a diet. And I probably will tell him the difference
Yeah,
between the practice and the principle. But then I am going to answer his question about the
sure.
diet because
Yeah.
he also seems honest and open. But when somebody is saying it in a way that's like attacking and saying, well, where do you even get your protein? You just eat grass and
Mm.
lettuce. Then I think it's appropriate to say this isn't about food. Yeah.
It doesn't even in that case. If someone is talking you like that, everything that you will say will have no purpose in general.
They're not open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, talking about diet, it's okay. For example, I have and it's a climate of fear because now um, you have the fear, for example, to make a reel with you cooking and
Hmm.
showing the world how beautiful you make spaghetti and how
Hmm.
tasty it is. You have the fear to do that yourself. Imagine yourself putting a reel like that, you will be ejected in the second of the group. For example, I have make shopping. I have buy fruits and vegetables, and I have made a video about that. And I show to people what I buy in my week in terms of fruits and vegetables. And I think it will be a great idea of video. He will be positive and he will show to non-vegan because I want to more talk to non-vegan now. From now on, I really want to focus because I strongly focus on vegan, on people who are already vegan in my Instagram.
Hmm.
But you have this fear of being judged, of being excluded, because you will show that, and there is people who will come at you and say veganism is not about diet.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to stop this craziness, and we have to understand that you can talk about the practice, you can talk about diet, you can talk about sport, you can talk about good health, and also talk about veganism. Especially on social media, it's important to be wide, and to show, and to be natural, and to, when you are sad, you tell the people you are sad. When you are happy, you tell people. We have to understand, and you have to be modest, also humble, a little bit humble in our understanding of human psychology, because we just know nothing about that. I am learning human psychology, and we have so much to learn, because it's
Mm-hmm.
one thing to have the right message, it's another thing to have the capacity to explain it, and to explain it in a way that non-vegan can appropriate, uh,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. And that's huge. That understanding is huge for me, having been a teacher
yeah,
in the past.
sure, yeah,
I had these lessons of Algebra 1, that I had to teach a 14-year-old
yeah,
who's worrying about his crush, and she's worrying about making a good impression,
sure,
and he's worried about his mom at home, and that one's worried about the friends, and I have to tell them how to form a graph on a paper and all these things, and it's like it's it's something that they can understand but they don't want to understand, and you have to package it in a way. You have to be patient, like I mentioned in your video.
yeah.
Patient, calm, rational, thorough, all these things. So yeah, we're very aligned in that.